Hello loves, today I'm going to be doing a read and ready, and that is where I'm going to be channeling the energy of the week and filling you guys in on what you need to know this week, how you can embody the best version of yourself and utilize the energy in order to do so. So let's get ready. The energy this week feels a little bit stagnant. So what it's kind of feeling like, people are in this transition stage. But it's kind of like the calm before the storm. So it's like there's a lot of planning going on, but the 3D might not be reflecting that as much as you would like. This might have you feeling a little bit overwhelmed or just frustrated when we're, really focusing on the 3D and focusing on embodying all of the things that we envision for ourselves. It's like our mind can get a little bit ahead of the game. Things sometimes do take time, and partially that's not a bad thing, because if you're gonna step into a new version of yourself, if it happened too quickly, for a lot of us it would overload our nervous system, and then we would do something to fuck it up because we're not ready to take all of that on, or that new identity on completely. So instead of kind of freaking out about it, what Spirit is kind of saying is to just take a beat and actually sit in stillness and perhaps, dare I say, enjoy it. There's going to be a little bit of momentum, especially towards the end of the week, but again, the next couple of days almost feel like they're gonna feel a little bit long, because there's almost like a lot of energy swirling through your vessel without the output of what's actually going to happen in the 3D. It also feels like because of this stagnancy, or this stagnancy has this purpose because our egos are going to be pushing back a little bit this week. You might feel this pull to go back to the old way of being, even though you physically cannot. Like, you've outgrown it, but there's a part of you that's like, this is actually happening, we're actually in this new chapter. There's this gentle reminder to just keep in mind that there's a component of grief with losing or growing out of an old stage of life. It doesn't mean that you need to go back to it, and it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's actually quite human, and it means that you are leveling up and evolving, which is what you want. So try to keep that in the forefront of your mind, that when you feel like going back, it will not fit. You probably won't even be able to, but there's nothing wrong with you feeling that way. What Spirit is suggesting is to really focus on sitting in stillness this week. After this week, momentum will be flowing quite freely, and you're not going to have as many opportunities to sit in this way as you will this week. So really set the game plan. Sit in silence. You don't even need to meditate. There's the saying, in stillness God speaks. That's for a reason. You're gonna get creative ideas, and there's gonna be a level of flow to this. It'll actually activate parts of your brain that are not normally activated, because you're actually calming your nervous system down, and your higher self can actually speak to you. People do not like to acknowledge this, but sometimes the constant hustle is actually a level of escapism to escape ourselves. But in order to really feel fulfilled and make yourself truly happy, you need to get to know yourself, just like you need to get to know anybody else in any other relationship. Arguably, the relationship with yourself is the most important one. There seems to be this focus on really accepting all of the parts of yourself, and you can only do that truly in stillness, when it's just you, no one else, no one to perform for, not even yourself. Do you like that version of you? And if you don't, you need to unpackage why you do not and figure out how you can. I'm hearing push past the threshold. So when there is a moment this week, I'm sensing it'll be around Wednesday, like midweek, when your ego really kicks in and is like, I'm an imposter, this is not who I am, what are we doing, let's go back to the old way of being. That is where you push past that point. That is not where you regress. That is not where you minimize. That is not where you get small. That is where you keep going and you push past it. That's really important. Now, energetically, this is honestly a lot more meaningful than the moment may even feel like, because it just might be for a split second. But that split second, if you decide to push through it, will change the rest of your life. we are evolving as a collective. So there's this push where our higher selves are really starting to nudge us. So places where we do not belong are going to feel extra out of place. And our egos are gonna kind of start to scream, because things scream before they die. If you are part of this collective, I would like to say that I'm proud of you. And I'm hearing that from Spirit as well, because it does feel like you've really been making an effort and you've been starting to think about how you can change your life. There's this component of people, or you guys, starting to wake up and realize that the only person that's gonna come in and save you is you. And that is not an easy thing to take accountability for, especially when you've endured hardship or you've had traumatic things happen to you that you never asked for. Bottom line though is that it is your life for the rest of your life, and you have to live with you for the rest of your life. So the fact that you are taking accountability and taking initiative is wonderful. For some of you that are evolving, I'm getting this sense that you might be in a friend group or in a situation, maybe family, but there's people connected to you that might not be taking this path. That is okay. Everybody's choice is different. Everyone has free will. While your ego is kind of screaming at you to revert because it's trying to keep you safe, and it's like, what are you doing? We are going off of script. What is happening? The people around you that are not on the same path might start to mirror ways of speech or ways of being towards you that amplify the ego. I'm hearing, do not take the bait. I think to think that the universe tests you all the time is a little bit problematic, but for lack of a better term, it is kind of like a test just to kind of reinforce your own internal voice and your own internal compass. There's no power in a yes if no is not an option. As soon as you make the decision internally to fully just go full commitment to this new way of being that you want to commit to, that's inside of you, that will not go away and will never be silenced anyways. As soon as you make it once, the first time is the hardest, and then before you know it, it's just who you are. People think that feeling of discomfort lasts forever. It doesn't. What lasts forever is when you're out of alignment. It's like that nagging feeling that quite never goes away. Even when you get everything that you want, there's this feeling of something missing. That feeling is gonna kind of be loud, I think, for the next couple of weeks until you start making conscious choices that commit and show your commitment to yourself ultimately. It's like everybody's higher self is trying to hold them by the hand, and if you're not listening, they're gonna start to tug at you. It feels like this is the part of the story where the main character has to kind of make one final push for them to kind of really not defeat the bad guy, but decide that they are the hero who defeats the bad guy. I'm feeling like for this collective, there's almost this feeling that choosing this path or the path of healing, there's this negative association with it. Like, it's gonna be really hard, or it's not gonna be fun, or this is so much work. There just kind of feels like there's this like negative narrative in your mind about it. And Spirit is gently laughing at you, because the fact that you even have those thoughts means that you kind of know better. Why would you think that it's hard to do if you're questioning your other way of being? It feels like your ego, you're not enjoying that actually. And you're trying to convince yourself out of something that you already know will feel more aligned. Just gently calling you out. You're smarter than you think. You've come farther than you think. They're kind of telling me just like, just try it on. See what happens. Maybe you'll have the time of your life. Maybe, just maybe, confirmation, you'll get everything you wish for and more. Maybe you'll be quite happy. Oh my goodness, I was looking for this. Let me just leave you with this. You already know how this works out for the alternative. You already know what it feels like to live with ego. You already feel that nagging feeling. You already feel that little part of you that just keeps nudging at you that maybe there's something more. So, what if you just tried on something else, just for a little, just to see how it goes? If you don't like it, you can go back. But I suspect that that will not be the case. If you need help unpacking your ego and deconstructing your mask identity, I will actually be releasing a guide on May 14th. So, if you're interested in that, there will be resources to help you out. I feel like whoever you are, you're really hard on yourself. I can feel it. You're so hard on yourself. You've already made the decision, that's why you're still watching. So, just stop fighting it. Your dream life truly is just on the edge of you making that choice. That's all there is. It's really no magic. Well, everything's magic, but you know what I mean. You're doing so great, kiddo, I promise you. You're worthy of living the life that you want for yourself. And the only one that's getting in your way is you. 3 deep breaths. You got this. I love you.